I wanted to give you a little update on my kindergartner. I was going to do it outside in this beautiful Arizona environment. Winters in Arizona are so gorgeous, but along with the beautiful weather and the beautiful scenery, we have leaf blowers, lawnmowers, and other types of power equipment to keep the place beautiful. So it's too noisy outside, so I'll sit in my car, I guess, and do it. So my 5-year-old is coming along okay. It's fine. I think that there's quite a bit of mischievousness in there, almost like what you would see in a RAD child, reactive attachment disorder. I don't know that that's what it is. I'm not saying that she doesn't have the other behaviors of a RAD kid, but that kind of manipulative bent is there that you see in RAD. And it's hard for me to tell when she's doing that. So this week I have switched. We're having a real hard time starting with 2 blocks, adding 1 and getting all the way to 7. And she was getting really frustrated. And although I would like her to get to that point, I don't think it's worth the frustration level. So I backed off and started now with 3. And she can do 3. Sometimes it takes her 3 tries, but she can get there. So we start with 3 colors and then I add 1 at a time. And we spent 2 sessions starting with 3 and adding 1, going to 4. Then this week I started with starting with 3, adding 1 and going to 5. So that was just 1 session on that. And she was making tons of errors. I just, had a hunch it probably was a put on. So she loves to do her penmanship right on the table. We have a whiteboard table, so that's wonderful for building penmanship skills, starting with the gross motor, larger skills, larger letters, and moving them down to smaller ones. So I love that for a young child. She's sometimes lost her privilege of having a penmanship lesson. So as she was just not getting the 5, I'm like, nah. So I said, you know what? If we can get this 5 done, we can start with penmanship really soon here. We can start your writing. Well, sure enough, first try, she got the 5 and we were off to her handwriting. So I just always need to find what is that motivating factor. The stickers are fine for her, but that doesn't really motivate her like writing on the table. And this time I went through and I had her write all her letters on the whiteboard first. She's got the 5 letters. I've decided to stop for a little bit. She's beginning to get a little confused. The vowels in particular are often confusing for the students. I've just backed off and we're going to do the 5 that we're working on, all straight line letters, capitals only, just to build the concept of tall down, starting from top going to bottom, starting from left going to right with straight lines. So we've done the T, the H, the F, the E, and the I. And she's not got their names and sounds down completely. She does better with the names of the letters than she does with the sounds. And I think that's because she wants to always say the sound that's in the name of the letter. So T, and she can get F, and she can get F. But the H, she has a hard time with because there's no H sound in H, right? But apparently someone, I don't know if it was her teacher or her mom, taught her to go like this. So now when she sees the H, she goes, and I thought that was a really good little trick for her, and it might be good for other students who struggle with remembering the sounds of the letters. The question always comes up, do they even need to know the names of the letters? No, they don't need to know the names of the letters, but as I mentioned in a previous video, it's much easier to work with tools if you know their names. So instead of saying, can you hand me that thing that you hit nails with? You say, can you hand me the hammer? It's the same way with letters. I have found that my students are much more confident when they know the names of the letters. I also find that it's much easier to teach them when they know the names of the letters. So do they need to know the names of the letters? No. Does it probably help at least the kinds of kids that I'm working with? Yeah, it really does. And she's got most of the names down and most of the sounds down. Gets confused with the E and I sounds quite a bit. She's doing well on her spatial relations. She has some challenges there, turning the corner a different direction, that sort of thing, when I make a corner out of 3 blocks. And she has to replicate it. But she actually is doing very well with the Cubits Junior. It's hard, and she does make mistakes, but she seems to be able to tell usually when she makes a mistake. Sometimes when her half and half blocks, diagonals, sometimes when those are backwards, she can't tell that. but I do feel it's a very good level for her, and I'm glad that I purchased that to use with her. Mom's been working with her at home, encouraging her to do some of the same kinds of things, and so that's always very helpful because then the student isn't going as long in between sessions. The little girl's also tutoring her little brother, trying to have him remember blocks. So Mom's thrilled about that, and it'll probably help the little guy too. And then finally, her patterns, I think she's doing a little better on that. I think she was able to do 4, I think, this week. I don't have my notes with me, but I think she's able to do 4 this week, a repeating pattern of 4. So, making progress. And that's about it for now. I'll update you next week.